All right, I think we're live. Good afternoon. My name is Thomas Kelly. I'm Associate Director of Residence Life here at Worcester State University, and this is Hangouts Before You Woo Life. Hangouts Before You Woo Life is an online web show geared towards new residents to Worcester State University. It's through these shows that we hope to engage with our future residents and connect them with offices and services that will support their transition to the institution. Each week, we discuss a topic featuring one of our many campus partners or a Residence Life staff member. If you miss an episode, we record them and we upload them to our YouTube channel. So if you missed our episode last week with Director of Admissions, Joe DiCarlo, make sure you visit our YouTube channel, search WSU Res Life, so you can watch that Hangout Before You Woo Life. Before we get started today, if you want to join into the conversation, make sure you use hashtag WooLife or leave a comment on the live stream chat. If we see those, we'll be sure to answer any questions that come up. I'm excited today to be joined by Associate Director of Financial Aid, Jennifer English. Jen, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the Financial Aid Office here at Worcester State?
So again, my name's Jen English. I'm the Associate Director of Financial Aid. I started at Worcester State in the year 2000. So with a little bit of math, it's usually pretty easy for you to figure out how long I've been here. And actually, we're starting to see financial aid applications from students who were born the year that I started here. So, yay. So, as I said, I'm part of the Financial Aid Office. We're a staff of 8 here, including 3 front desk staff members and 5 financial aid counselors. And you are assigned a financial aid counselor based upon your last name when you enter into Worcester State. I'll get to that a little bit later, but we process all the undergraduate and graduate financial aid applications here and help you and your families to figure out ways to finance and afford the Worcester State education.
Awesome, thanks a lot. So I got a few questions for you about financial aid. How about that? All right, so a student's been accepted to Worcester State. What do they need to do to apply for financial aid?
Well, the application process has become super easy over the last couple of years. You apply for financial aid by completing what's called the FAFSA. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. You apply online on a website, FAFSA.gov. FAFSA.gov makes it very easy to go through. One thing you do need to get before you apply for financial aid is both you and if you're a dependent student, your parents need to get what's called an FSA ID. That link can also be found on FAFSA.gov. So start there for your application process. Complete the FAFSA, get it sent to Worcester State University. You can list up to 10 different colleges and universities on your FAFSA, but get it sent to Worcester State. We will get it automatically as long as you put your social security number on your admissions application. We'll get it automatically, we'll review it, and within the couple of weeks after either your acceptance or your FAFSA is received, we'll get an answer out to you, either with an estimate of your financial aid or with a request for information.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about that Worcester State award letter that a student may get, and what sort of information should they be looking for on that once they receive it?
Well, the award letter will come out to you and it will have a list of all of the financial aid that we're able to offer from Worcester State. So that'll include things from federal sources, state sources, as well as institutional sources. And it can be combined with free money like grants, waivers, or scholarships, and what's called self-help. So that's work study and student loans. So all of that is on there. When a student gets a financial aid package, which we're actually in the midst of sending out kind of our follow-up packages right now, they'll also have some information on what the costs are here at the college. So we'll be sending out things like an estimated cost worksheet so they can figure out how much their bill will be here, as well as being able to figure out how much financial aid total that will be applied to the bill, and then what kind of financing that they're going to need to kind of complete their bill.
Great. So once they get that award letter, what's kind of the follow-up process for the student?
Well, so one of the steps is going to be filling out that estimated cost worksheet, because the student is going to need to figure out whether they're going to need to come up with some financing on their own. So we give a couple of options on there. They should be getting their award letter right about now. Within the next couple of weeks. They will then need to start kind of planning out what financing they're going to need throughout the summer. So bills are going to go out in July, and bills are going to be due in August. So kind of their full financial aid is going to need to be in place by then. A couple of other things that they're going to need to do, if they do get financial aid and they are accepting things like federal student loans, they're going to need to do a couple of follow-up steps. So they're going to need to complete entrance counseling and a master promissory note. Both of those are found on a website called studentloans.gov, another one of those federal websites they're going to need their FSA ID for. If they received federal work study as part of their financial aid package, they'll also receive emails from the university a little later on, closer to when classes start, with their follow-up information.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things you would advise an incoming student to kind of keep in mind for the future as they're transitioning into the institution? Oh.
Are we frozen? Oh, no, it looks good now.
All right, good. Just making sure. Did you hear that last question?
Which one was that?
What are some of the things you would advise an incoming student to be keeping in mind for the future as they transition in?
Yes. Okay. So if they've already applied for financial aid here and they get their financial aid award letter in the next couple of weeks, excellent. You know, as I said, they're going to need to figure out with their cost of it, their estimated cost worksheet, what their bill is going to be like this year. The thing is that that is only for this year. So keep in mind that financial aid is an annual application. So each year a student's going to need to fill out their FAFSA. So right after you start college, or your first year in October, you can start filling out the FAFSA for the next academic year. So that's one big thing to remember, that financial aid is an annual application. Second thing to remember is that financial aid does have an academic success component to it. We expect students to do fairly well in their courses. We want to see a student have a cumulative GPA of around a 2.0 and complete a majority of their classes, so about 67% of their classes that they have signed up for. That's what we call academic progress. So a student will need to maintain those standards throughout their educational career, cumulative again, in order to continue receiving aid in the future. So it's not just an idea of get your financial aid and then just sit back and relax. And then the third thing is that I keep talking about families having to finance some of their additional their bill that is not covered by financial aid. A student can look into things like scholarships. Worcester State does have a scholarship program, a donor-funded scholarship program. A student can visit worcester.edu/scholarships to see some of the scholarships that we offer. And again, those are an annual thing. So if you miss the deadline for this year, just keep in mind for the 18-19 academic year, we usually start scholarship applications in January and they run all the way up until April.
Awesome.
Okay.
So for the annual basis, October, super important to make sure that they reapply with their FAFSA, and then entering the new year, new calendar year, making sure that they're checking worcester.edu /scholarships for filling out those.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions I have today. Thanks, Jen. Thanks so much for joining us. Before we kind of wrap things up, is there anything else about Worcester State or financial aid that you want to add in?
No, I think that's everything. We are here all throughout the summertime. while we each may individually take vacations, our office will be open Monday through Friday throughout the summertime. We have a couple of days with evening hours, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But please, if you have any questions or concerns, and if you haven't heard from us yet too, very important, give us a call or send your counselor an email. You can find all of our contact information on worcester.edu/financial aid. We also have a general financial aid mailbox, so if you can't figure out who you need to speak to, you can send one to that general mailbox and we'll make sure it gets to who it needs to get to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I just want to give a quick plug to last week's episode and next week's episode. So if you missed us last week, you can check out our Hangouts Before You Woo Life with the Director of Admissions, Joe DiCarlo. Next week, next Wednesday, because we're here every Wednesday, we'll be joined by Academic Success to talk about registration days and testing for incoming students. So make sure you join us for those all super awesome topics. Again, I want to thank Jennifer English, Associate Director of Financial Aid, for joining us. As always, our Hangouts are recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel. You can find us on YouTube by searching WSU Res Life. You can also follow along on social media at WSU Res Life on Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. Or if you're looking for us on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Woo Life. Again, I'm Thomas Kelly, Associate Director of Residence Life, and thank you for joining us for Hangouts Before You Woo Life. Jen, thanks again for joining us.
Bye.